Hello and welcome to this episode of the Arctic Dungeon Master. So, this is another one of those videos where I sit back and I talk about a campaign that I'm DMing. And this one is the one that I've been talking about on my videos. I only talk about the campaign I play, of course, with my kids. Wardlings Campaign. So I want to talk about this because I have found a way, and it's not a brand new way, by the way, but I have incorporated it into my way of DMing for my kids, especially since it is a way of testing their educational skills. So it goes along with something that and I've created a safe environment for them to make choices and learn from the consequences, which is something I think that a 7 and 5-year-old, they're both soon to be at 8 and 6-year-old. Actually, one of them did have a birthday this week, so she is 8. So an 8 and a 5-year-old to learn from. They get to choose what spells they want to receive when they level up and whatnot, according to this book, and they get to learn that not everything is the same, which is kind of cool. One of the frustrations that my 8-year-old is having playing this is that things have to go by the results of educational question. So like we roll the dice and she has to add those up, or she has to spell a word, and if she gets the answer wrong, she either misses her attack or she gets attacked herself, depending on what's going on in that situation, instead of rolling the d20. So I do that instead of having them roll the d20, and I can because I'm running the campaign and they're homeschooled, and this is a fun way for them to get some learning in, whether they realize it or not, because everyone hates time tests, but this is a fun way to do so. Just my thoughts. You could totally disagree with me, say that I am a complete a-hole for doing things like that, and you'd be right. These aren't your kids though, so sorry. Then this isn't your game either. So you can have your own opinions about how to quiz your kids and how to play your own D&D games with your kids. But this is how I'm playing D&D, and this is how I'm doing the Wardlings campaign with my kids. So take it or leave it. They will not be rolling d20s until they live to be the ripe age of 13. And then I will show them the rite of passage of buying dice and make a whole formal ceremony out of it, and they'll be able to play D&D without answering questions. Live with it. So the secret's out. Like I said, it's not a brand new way of doing things. I believe Professor Dungeon Master from Dungeon Craft, he does something similar, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people who do the same thing as well. Like I said, that's just my way. They still roll dice for attacks. Like if they get the question right, then they get to roll their dice for attacks. So, and the questions are not super hard. Like the 8-year-old has to spell words or add numbers. The 5-year-old has to point to a letter, and she has to tell me what letter it is. Or she has to count. Things fit for a kindergartner. So I do make it age appropriate. so I'm not a completely horrible person. And the kids enjoy this. I really think this is a great campaign if you got young kids. This says for ages 10 and up. Neither of my kids are 10, and they still enjoy this. They learn in a safe environment about the consequences of their actions. Kind of like, I guess, if you were to make Minecraft or something that's safe for kids. This is the same idea. I'm just playing Dungeons and Dragons with my kids and spending time with my kids. And in theory, I could have more than just my kids playing. So there's a completely different element in that aspect as well. Whereas, isn't Minecraft like just set to like 4 people or whatever? I don't know how it works. Don't play video games. The only nerd thing I really do is Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes Magic, but really just Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know why that has just corrupted my life. So I have played 2 sessions with my kids. I have set up the 3rd, so we could run that anytime. But that is what I introduced into the way of playing for my kids. And the second the 8-year-old gets frustrated because she has a familiar who should be doing some things, and she thinks that she should be able to do something because she has a flaming sword, but she gets answers wrong and she does not like the consequences of that, but she has to live with it. And she has to realize that she can't just get frustrated all the time, and it's something that she has to realize and settle with. And I love that aspect of what that game does. You know, it forces that upon them. And whether or not they realize it, they're not only getting quizzed about things they should know, they're also learning valuable life lessons that they are going to need to know later on. So that's what I really enjoy about this. And I get to spend time with my kids. Could not be a blessing at the same time. Depends on the day of the week, actually. They're kids. So yeah, there's that. Another interesting thing is that the 8-year-old, she was willing to sacrifice her familiar so that she wouldn't have to fight. Her familiar has like 8 hit points, and she was willing to send it out to battle wolves because overnight they were staying in a rundown shack, and then they got surrounded by wolves the next morning, and she was willing to send out her familiar to fight in her place so that she could stay safe. And that was a very interesting concept. Not something that I told her to do. She thought that up herself. And like I said, her familiar had like 6 or 8 hit points. And it's just like, wow, girl, you cruel. You very cruel. She eventually came out and fought though, because she did not like getting skipped over. And you know, she is like an orc barbarian, or an orc fighter or something. So she's awesome at combat skills. When she gets the answers right, she does like 10 hit points damage, and that's good in this game. I mean, these are low levels. I started them out at level 1, and we're working our way up. I believe now they should be level 2, so I'll sit down with them and be like, alright, let's pick something else, blah blah blah, go through the book. And after this, we might do some little more adventures in this little worldly setting, which is cool. And another thing I didn't know is that this book comes with a map. A map of the world. and there's details and stuff of all the different places that you don't visit in the campaign, but you could. More creatures and whatnot. Just these cute little guys. These are way cuter than what you find in the Monsters Manual. And interesting enough, and I'll probably talk about this in more detail in the next video, but it calls out for the Monster Manual and some of the creatures. So that's pretty cool. We'll make them feel like real Dungeons and Dragons players. Alright, so if you have played Wardlings, let me know in the comments below how you liked it and whatnot. I'm still playing it, so I'd love to hear from you guys. If you are interested in getting your own copy of Wardlings, I will try to find a link or something like that and post it. No guarantees, but totally hit up your local game shop. And yeah, Wardlings, it's a great one. I highly enjoy it. Alright, so if you liked this video, like it. If you play D&D with your kids, comment below. Share this video with your spouse and be like, hey, is this a good idea? Until next time, I'll see you guys.